All right, Broncos country, looks like we are live, but you guys know the drill by now. We've got to let the stream breathe for just a second here and make sure that everything is nice and stable all across the YouTube platform. Welcome in, Broncos country, to this Denver Broncos Syndicate live stream. I am your host, Gage Madrid. We've got some breaking news out of the Mile High City as Denver might be dealing with a bit of a concerning injury. But before we get into that, guys, I do want to let some people start streaming on in here, and we are going to go ahead and take care of some housekeeping matters. If you could just do me a big favor and smash the like button on this stream as well as subscribe to the channel, I would really appreciate it. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support. It helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. Additionally, if you guys want to go above and beyond in supporting the channel, please consider becoming a channel member today. I would really appreciate it. If you want some extra perks and incentives in exchange for helping me out and helping this channel grow, I would really appreciate it. Again, the link is in the description below. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into the news of the day here. Share screen. And bring in this tweet here from Tom Pelissero. Make sure that it's on screen. There we go. Broncos running back J.K. Dobbins suffered a foot injury on what appeared to be a hip drop tackle on Thursday night against the Raiders and is awaiting a second opinion per source. Dobbins still finished the game with 2 carries on the final drive to close out the win. But judging by JK's reaction here, ban or at least call the MFing hip drop tackle. He tweeted that out about an hour ago. I'm hoping that's not an indication that this injury is going to cause him to miss time. J.K. Dobbins has been the Broncos' best offensive player, dare I say it. He's been the only model of consistency for the Broncos this year on offense, and losing him would be absolutely devastating. I want to go ahead and take a look at the play in question here. I've got to mute it and put it at 0.25 here for copyright reasons. Switch to this tab here. So we're going to see this is the play. J.K. Dobbins is going to take the handoff here on this draw. And it's Tyree Wilson, who's being blocked by Bulls right now, that's going to come in, lower his hip, and drop him down. That's like the classic hip drop tackle mechanism. And we're going to see it on replay here. Yeah, pretty classic hip drop position, and JK's foot is going to get trapped underneath Wilson's body right here. See that? That position worries me a little bit. That was the same position that Joe Burrow got his foot caught on when he suffered his turf toe injury. I'd have to imagine since JK returned to the game, it's not turf toe, but sometimes these guys can get by on strictly adrenaline and stuff like that, and they don't realize they're even really hurt until they end up waking up the next morning and not feeling too good. JK was a little shaken up after that, was hobbling on the sideline, but yeah, obviously this is a less than ideal situation here. If J.K. Dobbins is seriously injured, I don't know what this is. Is it some sort of a foot fracture? Is it a turf toe? I have no clue what this actually is, but yeah, man, if it's serious, then that is big. That is a big problem here for this Broncos offense. You see, Nick Wright doesn't know football. He just spews his opinions based on crap that he thinks he knows that he's talking about. But again, Nick Wright does not know football. Was Bo Nix good yesterday? No. But was he the main problem yesterday? Again, no. We talked about that in a video that I put out a little bit earlier. So if you guys want to hear my thoughts on Bo Nix, I will direct you there. He'd better not miss time. This is bad if he does. Absolutely. If he's unable to go, then the Denver Broncos might have some serious problems on offense because JK has been their only model of consistency on that side of the ball. RJ Harvey's been inconsistent. We already know about the inconsistencies in the passing game. So, yeah, man, J.K. Dobbins, that would be really, really bad. He nearly got him killed. The Raiders always try to injure our players. I'm sick of it. Yeah, man, that one definitely, I definitely think that should have been a penalty. I'm tired of these Raiders. That's what destroyed Javonte. I hope it's a sprain. That would be the best outcome. If it's broken, then that could be season ending. Yep, it could. And if it's a turf toe, I'd like to hope that if it were a turf toe, they'd report it as a toe and not just a foot. But if it's a turf toe, obviously Joe Burrow missing significant time because of that. They're very significant injuries, turf toes are. They're torn ligaments in your toe. And based on the way his foot got compressed like that, I'm not a doctor, but that's the exact same mechanism for Joe Burrow's injury, the way that foot got compressed, the toes got bent. So JK is seeking a second opinion on this injury. We don't know if it's going to cause him to miss time. The fact that the Broncos have this mini bye week and then they have their actual bye after the Kansas City game, that's good news. But JK might not be able to play in this Kansas City game, which is arguably Denver's most important contest of the year. And if their offense and special teams played like they played in the game against the Raiders last night, then they are not going to fare well in this game against Kansas City. Kansas City's defense has been playing at a really high level. We already know what that high-flying offense can do with Patrick Mahomes. So obviously the Denver Broncos, they're really hoping that J.K. Dobbins is going to be able to be healthy for this game. If he's not, then we're going to be relying on R.J. Harvey and Tyler Bidet. I'm getting sick and tired of Tyler Bidet at this point. I understand why he's seeing snaps. He's the only running back that the Denver Broncos really trust in pass protection. He's their third down back. He's, in essence, the new Samaje Perine. But he's dropping the ball. He's becoming a liability out there. So having to see more of Tyler Bidet would not be a good thing for this offense. We could see Deuce Vaughn. He is on the practice squad, a very speedy, shifty back. The Broncos could elevate him from the practice squad in light of this injury. And then there's still Jaleel McLaughlin, but Jaleel got playing time. I want to say it was the game against the Jets, and he did not fare well in that game whatsoever, had a lot of struggles. Jaleel McLaughlin, I understand Sean Payton likes him, and I was a fan of Jaleel's at one point. I'm still a fan of him as a person, but I don't understand why he's still here because he's not seeing playing time, and he's just taking up a spot on the active roster at this point. He needs to set his feet. Why is he throwing like that? I'm assuming you're talking about Bo Nix right there. I agree. And we've talked about Bo Nix's footwork so many times on this channel. And honestly, I feel like it's a fixable thing, but it's not fixable in season. It's more of an off-season fix. Year 3 is when we saw Josh Allen really dive in to fix his mechanics, his footwork, his arm mechanics, all that stuff. And that's what allowed Josh Allen to become the Josh Allen we know today. I'm not saying that Bo Nix is Josh Allen, but if Bo does take similar strides in terms of improving his footwork and improving his accuracy, then I think we've got a really good quarterback here in Denver. It could either be an ankle or foot injury. They'd have to say ankle on the injury report if it were an ankle. They can't say foot if it were an ankle. That's something they would get in trouble for. So high ankle sprain, I don't think that's what it was, even though that mechanism could have been it. Again, I'm more worried about the way his toe got compressed right there. That looks like turf toe. I guess we got to look forward to the draft. Bo looked scared last night. I can guarantee you one thing right now. Bo Nix will be the Denver Broncos starting quarterback for the rest of this season and for the entirety of 2026. I can guarantee you that. The Broncos are 8-2 right now. They're winning football games, guys. They're not going to bench their starting quarterback when they're winning football games. They are finding ways to win football games despite Bo at times being ugly in his development. That's a good thing, Broncos country. That is a good thing. I remember the last time we tried to develop a young quarterback and we were losing football games and this fan base ran out of patience. So at the end of the day, I would much rather Bo Nix go through these struggles now and we're still finding ways to win football games, people. We're 8-2. We've got the best record in the NFL. All this talk about Bo Nix getting benched, all of it really pisses me off because I can tell you one thing. That is never, N-E-V-E-R, all caps, never going to happen under Sean Payton. Sean's not going to bench his hand-picked quarterback. And I can tell you another thing that is never going to happen either. Sean Payton, he's pretty much said it too. He is never going to give up play calling. You'd have to rip it from his cold, dead fingers. So, in my opinion, all these conversations that Broncos country is having about a new play caller or a new quarterback, it's all moot because it is never, never going to happen. And I mean never. He looked pressured when not under pressure. And don't get me wrong, there are some plays where he bails from clean pockets, but pretty much every single issue for Bo Nix is fixable. It's not like he's this lost cause. He wants to get better. He's mentally committed to getting better. So all of this talk about benching Bo Nix and stunting his development, do we really want to be right back where we were for the past 8 years, Broncos country? Do we really want to get back on this quarterback carousel? Because the way that a lot of these fans are talking, it sure seems like we do. It seems like we want to fire Sean Payton, bench Bo Nix, go back to hiring a new head coach every 4 years, and go back to getting a new quarterback every 2 years. I'm sick of that crap. I would much rather ride this thing out with Bo Nix and see where it takes us. And thus far, it's taken us to some pretty good places as opposed to try a new experiment again and probably go back to where we were from 2016 to 2022. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of this conversation. Mike says, I think Nix is injured a little bit. At the end of the day, we're not going to know that. The team doesn't discuss that. Maybe there's some lingering effect from that back injury that he has last year, but Bo's not going to make that excuse for himself, so I'm not going to make that excuse for him. Why would you bench a quarterback that has a record of 8-2? Exactly. Thank you. If you want to destroy the team chemistry and destroy the camaraderie in that locker room and destroy any chance of free agents signing with you in the future, then you bench Bo Nix. If you want to go back to where you were for the past 8 seasons before Sean Payton got here, then you bench Bo Nix. It's that simple. Thank God we have a mini bye week. Hopefully he'll be good to go. We're cooked if we lose Dobbins. Absolutely. Absolutely. Your thoughts on the 3rd and 1 trick play? It was unnecessary. I mean, you're running the ball well on that possession, so you can't convince me that if you had run it twice, you probably wouldn't have picked up the first down right there. You lost yardage on that trick play, and that prevented you from being able to feasibly go for it on 4th down. So, yeah, I don't like the timing of it. The play call itself, it was designed to work, but the Raiders were all over it. Like, Evan Ingram was open on that play. He was running a crosser. If that play had worked as designed, it probably would have been a walk-in touchdown for Evan Ingram, but I also will say, like, I don't like the timing of when he dialed that one up. 3rd down and 1 in a must-have-it drive. I feel like you probably should have just run the ball there in that situation. Yeah, again, I don't know for sure if Bo Nix is hurt or not, and that's nothing I'm really going to speak on because I just don't know. You want to feel that nasty pressure again, losing seasons every time? No, I'm done with that trash. So am I. And all these fans out there that want Sean and Bo gone, that's what's going to happen if they're gone. I can guarantee you that. Sean seems to outclass himself sometimes instead of just calling easy plays. Sometimes I feel like he leans into the easy plays a little too much, i.e. the screens. At other times, he's got plays that he's very confident in is going to work. And at the end of the day, the Broncos are paying guys millions of dollars in order for these plays to get executed. So at some point, Sean's got to call these plays with the expectation that it's going to get executed. But sometimes I do wish that Sean Payton would just run the ball in some of these very clear run situations. Sean Payton's play calling as a whole has been really good for this Broncos team. Sean Payton generally puts this offense in a position to be successful, but when it's not successful, it's generally because the players aren't executing. So Sean will have like 1 or 2 plays in each game where you're kind of scratching your head a little bit in terms of the timing of when he called it. But overall, Sean Payton's play calling has been fantastic. And another thing that I kind of want to discuss is everybody's saying that the Broncos should go to Davis Webb as their offensive play caller. If they go to Davis Webb, nothing is going to change. There's still going to be trick plays. There's still going to be screens called. There's still going to be passing plays called in run situations. You can't be one-dimensional on offense. You can't just call run plays on third and short situations. You can't just call pass plays on long yardage situations. You've got to keep the defense honest. You've got to mix it up. And sometimes it looks ugly. And Mark Schlereth has talked about this sometimes, where you'll see play callers stay committed to a certain play call even though it isn't working, because they're trying to sell out, get the defense to sell out to stop these looks. And then you can get an explosive play, or you can get some sort of play action. You can get some sort of wrinkle off of this play if you get the defense to commit to sell out to stopping it. Sometimes you'll accept that you're going to run a play like 4 or 5 times that isn't going to be worth a crap, because some of the stuff that you can get off of that play is going to provide you explosives later on in the game. Think they were looking ahead to the Chiefs? It's possible, but it's Thursday night football. These Thursday night games always get screwy. Teams don't usually play their best football on Thursday night. And this was a division game, so I'd like to hope they weren't overlooking a division game, especially at home. But we all know this Chiefs game has massive implications for this year. You're wrong. I watched the same game you are, and Peyton is the problem. I want to know, Javier, tell me exactly what your criticism is of Sean Payton. Not just the play calling is bad. Like, tell me what plays you'd call instead. Tell me why you'd call him. Tell me what looks you'd call him against. I want to know all the ins and outs here of all these fans who think they could do a better job calling plays. I know I sure as hell couldn't. I call plays in Madden, but I couldn't call an actual NFL game. And I can guarantee you that 99.9% of human beings on planet Earth couldn't do it either. It's not as easy as it seems. It's literally a game-long chess match. And 90% of the criticism with fans talking about their offensive play caller is that, oh, the play call didn't work, so that means this play caller must suck. This isn't exclusively a Broncos problem, by the way. I monitor pretty much every other fan base in the NFL, and I see this with every other fan base, including winning teams. Like the Detroit Lions, they're ready to run their offensive coordinator, John Morton, out of town right now. Johnny Mo, Sean Payton disciple, funny enough. But seriously, man, at the end of the day, it's pretty easy to default to blaming the offensive play caller, but when your players aren't executing the play calls that are there, and it's not just a quarterback problem, it's a receiver problem, it's a running back problem, it's an offensive line problem, it's especially a tight end problem. I mean, the tight end play in Denver has been putrid. When you're not executing, then at the end of the day, the play calls that are designed to work simply aren't going to work. It's easy to blame the offensive play caller, but it's not as easy, especially as fans who are attached emotionally to these players, to blame the players, unfortunately. Sean also needs to realize that Bo's not Drew and never will be. Peyton needs to play to his strengths, which is play action and quick passes. We see the quick game, but at the end of the day, you can't completely eliminate the deep game from your playbook. You've got to be able to stretch the field. You have to have confidence that your quarterback is going to hit some of these deep throws. And as his footwork gets better over time, I'm confident that he will hit some of these deep throws. I'm just baffled that on 3rd and long, we kept Singleton on the field and pulled Dre off. I know he has the dot, but that's crazy to me. Until you figure out this dot situation, you're going to have to keep Singleton on the field, which really does frustrate me. I'd like to get him off the field on 3rd down too, but if you're going to have a different green dot in, you've got to swap helmets. Like, there are tells generally whenever you're swapping personnel. So, yeah, I can understand why the Broncos aren't doing it, but this is why I would have just tried to get somebody to replace Alex Singleton at this point. We got Dylan in the house. Good to see you, Dylan. Hope you are doing well. Just got on here. I'm hearing that Bo is nursing a left hip injury, kept under wraps, happened during the Chargers game. Where did you hear this? Is this from like a Broncos reporter? Please tell me where you heard this so I can confirm this. Then Peyton needs to crack the whip. Get these guys on the same page. Sure. And that is a valid criticism for Sean Payton. It is his job as the head coach to have these guys on the same page. So, sure, you can definitely criticize Sean for that, and I think that's a valid criticism. Singleton has looked good versus the run, though. He has. He looked good versus the run in this game, too. So that's another reason why you're not taking Alex off the field. But on third down, obvious passing situations, everybody knows that Alex Singleton is a liability in coverage. So I'd be for taking him off the field at this point. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and start winding this thing down here. But before we do, if you could just do me a big favor and smash the like button on this stream, as well as subscribe and ring the bell, I would really appreciate it. Those are both free and easy ways to show your support, helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and it helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. Additionally, if you guys want to go above and beyond in supporting the channel, please consider becoming a channel member today. It's not mandatory, but if you guys want some extra perks and incentives in exchange for helping me out and helping the channel grow, the link is in the description below. All right, guys, and until next time, I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.